Hello, my name is Carissa Shaw. I'm going to be acting as an intervener for the final project for this class. So my project and the presentation is going to be presented on further recommendations for the Hudson River Dredging project. So first off, most people who haven't ever learned about this project or don't know what it really is about, they kind of question what PCBs actually are. So PCBs, or polychlorinated biphenyls, are a class of stable chemicals that consist of 209 individual compounds. They were widely used for fire prevention as an insulator in transformers and capacitors because of their ability to withstand really high temperatures. And then beginning in the 1940s, when they were first available, GE held valid permits to use and discharge the compound from the Hudson River, but it was discontinued in the mid 1970s when when PCBs were phased out in the United States. So when did dredging actually start on the Hudson River? So the EPA spent about 12 years evaluating all of the data on the Hudson River before they actually decided that dredging was the appropriate environmental remedy. So the first year of dredging actually was performed in 2009, and further dredging was performed from 2011 to 2015. Because of the work, more than 300,000 pounds of PCBs have been removed, which is fantastic, and it's a huge step towards, cleaning up the area and making sure that nothing else becomes contaminated. So dredging was, conducted around the clock, 6 days a week, 6 months of each year. This project was hailed by the EPA as a historic achievement and enormously successful. The EPA has determined the project is meeting its rigorous environmental protection goals that it had originally set, which is great. So, in order to intervene in the standpoint of the project, there are other recommendations that could be made that haven't necessarily been mentioned. So, in terms of what I am recommending towards this project, in order to reduce the risk of more water being in places such as floodplains or wetlands being contaminated from PCBs due to natural activity like rain or flooding, um, other recommendations need to be made. So, in order to do this, the EPA could prevent this by laying clean backfill before the threat of natural causes. So, after dredging, they could lay down some clean backfill in order to prevent um, continued contamination. So for those of you who don't know what backfill is a clean 3/4 aggregate fill that is used directly behind a wall, and the amount of backfill required depends on the type of wall system and drainage that's being used. The exact type of material used depends on the type of aggregate available in specific regions, but in this case, it's believed that this may be one of the best recommendations to further prevent contamination in the future. Continuing off of that, just a little, you know, discussion on how the floodplains are being contaminated and infecting animals. So the Hudson River floodplains provide habitat to a wide range of wildlife, including amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. These organisms often are important parts of the diet for predators such as mink, eagles, falcons, and owls. So if the floodplain soils contain PCBs, they may provide a PCB source for floodplain food chains. The floodplain may become contaminated when the heavy rain and snowmelt comes, which causes to overtop its banks. And then in that case, the flood waters bring with them the sediment that's been churned up from the river's bed, and eventually the flood waters retreat and deposit contaminated sediments on the floodplain. So it's proving that my recommendation would be extremely helpful with trying to avoid the situation with clean backfill from the start. So obviously it's you need to monitor your success in situations like this. So the most obvious way to tell if the clean backfill is working is to test the sediment where it's been placed to see if any of the contaminants or toxins in the water can make its way into places that it shouldn't. So I just wanted to say thank you. This has been a great class, and I hope you all enjoy my presentation.